You've got an interesting story that I really want to dig into a little bit, and then we'll talk about some other things, because I think you and me have a unique perspective on the rags to riches situation. You know what I'm saying? But yours
I
is
do.
really cool because you've actually built an amazing physical business, blue collar physical business, to a really super successful thing. So I want to talk about that. And then you built the online business, and it's just become this awesome thing that's got incredible potential to blow up even more. So take me back to before you started the pressure washing business. Like, what were you doing before you started? You decided you want to be a pressure washer.
I was a mechanic for a while, and I started working on fire trucks, which that led me to become a full-time fireman. And there is where I decided to start my pressure washing business. And
was it just for extra money, or?
And it was just for extra money. My wife worked at Toyota at the time, the one here in the headquarters here in Erlanger before it moved to Michigan, where her job went to. But so we was just one of the guys came in and he's like, man, I want to pressure wash these houses down here. And I worked on heavy equipment and I did plenty of pressure washing. I was like, you're stupid, man. Because I remember pressure washing, you get all nasty, greasy. And I'm like, that's stupid. Well, I started to try to figure out what more about it. And I got online and I started teaching myself. And, this was the day back in forums before Facebook. They had these things called forums for the old people out there. And so I started learning everything. And before this, I'm a very visual person. Don't like reading. I hate reading. I hate it. The reason why I talk about that is because as the story goes on now, I actually enjoy listening to audiobooks and stuff like that. But before that, if it didn't have pictures, I wasn't looking at it. And so I started learning about pressure washing. Well, pressure washing is the easy side of things. That's the easy part of the business, and that's what, I grew my business to over $1 million up here in Cincinnati, greater Cincinnati area, as a service business. And that's the easy part, is the pressure washing. The part that's the hard part, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about local business or if we're talking about the other side of even online business, is the marketing side of things. And so that is where I really started pushing my local business, was through the marketing, doing Google AdWords, Google My Business, and all of that kind of stuff, and doing local SEO and stuff like that. And that is what grew my pressure washing business to that $1 million.
Being guys from Kentucky, grew up in small towns, small counties, and we see our fair share of poverty in our areas. And I never wanted for anything, but I never had a lot. You know what I'm saying? My mom and dad couldn't give me everything I wanted. I started driving a car in, the mid 90s, but I was driving one from the mid 80s. Let's be realistic. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we had this old car, we called it the Tank, and it was this massive, like 1972 Buick. I mean, it looked like an aircraft carrier. You could put a couple drones on the back of it. And dude, I used to sometimes my car would break down. I'd have to drive the Tank to school. And I was so embarrassed. It was I would park behind the Votech school and walk around to get in, because I was just like, oh God, I got to drive the Tank to school. But it's so stupid. Should have done that. But like, what have you learned on the other side of entrepreneurship now? One, you grew this amazing physical real world business that had great revenue and a great living. And two, we've both now seen what's possible. I mean, you can make as much money in a month as a lot of people make in a year if for probably half the work. Let's be honest, right? Has that opened your eyes to anything, changed anything, the way you look at the world or the way your kids are being raised? Or like, how does that affect you guys, like, now that we're on the other side of this? And to be fair to everybody out there, me and Jason are still trying to figure this out. So like, what do you think about that on the other side of it?
It's tough. It's hard. The mindset issues that I still deal with. It's tough and it's amazing all at the same time. My daughter, she's on the Cincinnati United Premier, so Cup. It's the top 10 in the country. We would have never been able to do that if it wasn't for the online business.
These new pressures emerge when you're trying to impact the world and you're trying to grow your business. And it's these weird pressures that honest to God, y'all, nobody tells you about in school. It's not their fault, but your parents didn't know about it. They don't know about this. They never experienced it. And probably based on math, 80% of humans don't get to experience these pressures and these weird things that appear in your life when you're trying to impact the world and grow your business. Everybody talks about the 1%, and then there's the 9%, and then there's the 89%, right? Or whatever. I don't even know if that math added up right, you know?
Kentucky math.
That's Kentucky math, baby. You get it. You understand. 85% of people do not have the experience or people in their life to help them through entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? It's like 4% of the world are even entrepreneurs. So it's just really, really tough when you come from a normal middle-class background and in your 30s, you decide to do something different.
Well, and I just read a book here recently, and that kind of ties this to a little bit of, of finding the who, not how. Yeah, finding who can I put in those spots and let them do it. Because when I do the how, and I try to do it all myself, and we
fall back to that.
Back to that. That's horrible. If I can find the who and put all of the responsibility on them, that is the important part, because then they will thrive right then. Because, for even building a website, I can tell you how, but if I put somebody that's in charge of that, of who can do it and let them do it and be awesome at it, then it will be awesome at the end of the day.
Because you don't have to figure out everything yourself. You just got to find the people that can help you.